Hey, deserving listeners, it's time to continue watching Welcome to Plathville. My name is Dr. Kirk Honda. I'm a therapist and a professor, and I watch this show and react to it, and let's see if anything of interest comes out of my face as I watch the show.
I haven't heard anything from you since we sang together as a band.
You'll hear it on the radio sometime.
It's going to be a big change. You might be like, la, 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 la.
I know that Mariah thinks that we're a bunch of prudes, but we're really not like that. If you're in concert somewhere, I would come hear you.
Even if it was at a bar?
Even if it was at a bar.
Okay, so in this situation, we're seeing that Mariah is like, oh, you know, I'm recording songs, and the mom is taking a lot of interest in that, and she's like, you know, if you played live, I'd come see you. And she's like, even if I was in a bar, that sounds, you wouldn't go to a bar. Even if it was in a bar, I'd come see you play. And Mariah and Micah are very surprised by that. And I wonder what's happening here. What is why are they so surprised? Is it because the mom is exhibiting new behavior as a result of the previous conflict that they had with Ethan? Did that situation cause her to rethink her overall flexibility to her children? Is it a temporary move that the mom is making to extend herself a little bit to at least not lose these children as well? Or were the kids not giving the mom enough credit for being flexible? I don't know.
And I'm there, and I'm in the back somewhere, like, watching and cheering you on.
That would be pretty sweet.
My mom sang for, like, the first time that I can remember, really just even mentioning success, and that she could see that in me was like, I don't know, it's a really, really good feeling.
Okay, so according to Mariah anyway, this is a new behavior from the mom to be proud of Mariah, to support her interests. So maybe the whole blow up with Ethan helped the mom evaluate her approach and help her to make a change. It kind of looks that way, doesn't it? That for the mom to realize, oh man, if I keep on my current trajectory, I'm gonna lose all my kids. So I'm gonna have to adjust. Now, the real question here is it permanent or not? Or is it temporary? I don't know if we'll find out in this episode.
Just knowing that maybe my mom does believe in me.
And I want to be clear, I'm not saying that the mom needs to be flexible about rules. Every household has a different set of rules, and some sets of rules are outside of what we would consider to be good parenting. But what I'm talking about flexibility, I'm talking about emotional flexibility. The ability for the mom to say, well, I'm worried about my daughter, and I want to try to guide her in a direction that is best for her. But at the same time, I want to make sure I express that I'm proud of her and that I love her and that she is acceptable to me. I accept her as she is because she is a good person. I don't know if Mariah got that message very much. But in this moment, she is getting it. And you just see it on her face in the moment, and then in the interview, you see the impact that has on her. How important it is for children to feel like they're acceptable, like they're loved, like they're good enough. It's very important. And although no parent or very few parents would admit or even consciously know that they're giving off those vibes to a child. If you asked Kim, I'm sure she said, of course I love Mariah. Of course she's acceptable to me. She's my child. I love her. But on a day-to-day, minute-by-minute basis, constant messaging that seems to indicate that she's not acceptable, that there's something fundamentally wrong with her character. And that gets under your skin. It can really rot away any kind of goodwill you have between each other and any kind of self-esteem. And any kind of motivation you have to follow the rules, frankly.
Mariah and I are at a bunch of crossroads. We can
I like to
choose whatever we want and go wherever we want.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it feels like we have your support.
Yes, you absolutely
we're behind
do.
you.
A grudge is not good to keep for a long time. I wouldn't say everything's forgiven, but it's in the process.
And now I wonder if after Ethan made that big move and really rejected the parents and almost came to blows with the dad, that it gave the other kids, Mariah and Micah, the opportunity to say, well, someone let mom have it, that's good. So now we don't have to push back on her as much because one of us pushed back on her, and so that frees me up to be a little bit more flexible in my attitude and approach to my mom. It certainly seems that way. Because it's not like things have changed drastically. And all of a sudden, Micah and Mariah are now open to reconciling with the mom. Why is that? Why right after Ethan's big blow up with the parents? Now, of course, they're editing this, so who knows? But it certainly looks that way, right? And that's okay. That's how systems operate. As I've been saying from the beginning, a system is a whole. You know, we tend to look at people as individuals, but they're not in terms of their psychologies and their behavior and their attitudes and their beliefs. We operate as a whole, as a society or as a culture or as a family. And when when there was something's wrong in the family, and the whole system realizes someone needs to push back on that person. Someone needs to tell that person what's up. And who's it going to be? Well, Mariah was the one that was elected for so long to be that person. And it was sort of a slow burn over time. But now Ethan was elected by the system to really let him have it. And boy, did he let him have it. And now that frees up the rest of the siblings so that they don't have to let her have it anymore. Maybe. Now, maybe it's temporary. Maybe it's permanent. I'm guessing we're not going to find out until season 3.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it was a really good discussion that we had with Mike and Mariah. I see us as 4 adults sitting together talking about our lives and what's going on. And I love that the little ones were there hearing 2 of their siblings join in adult conversation with their parents.
Yeah, but you just have to wonder how come they couldn't engineer this kind of conversation in the past? What is it about the big blow up with Ethan that preceded this that made it able for the mother to do this? Now, there's a lot of different possibilities. One is that the kids are now more open to the mom, and or the mom is a little bit more open to the kids. There's another possibility where all the change happened within the mom. That the mom turned a new leaf and she decided that she was going to be more flexible and more accepting and more loving and less of an overlord, if you will, less critical. And that freed up the whole system to allow this to happen, which I think is a big success if it sticks. At the cost of Ethan, though, right? I mean, there's a big cost there.
And I feel like that's a really good model for the younger children.
Now, personally, I'm feeling like, we're building back things that we might have lost over the last year.
And you hear the mom still orienting toward the children. As most parents are, she's very oriented towards her children's safety and raising her children well. And in the past, it was, I need to keep these older kids away for the children. Now she's saying, what a great thing for the younger children to see is to see older kids being in a loving relationship with me and doing well in life. That's good for the kids. So it's a totally different mindset before and after Ethan. At least that's the way it looks, the way that they're editing it here. I'm guessing it's not drastic change, but enough of a change such that maybe this family will move into the future in a whole new way. Maybe it took Ethan to have this huge blow up for the system to change. We talk about homeostasis and morphogenesis in systems theory. And this applies to family systems or ecological systems or cellular systems. And there's a lot of science around it. But when we're applying it to social groups, we have homeostasis, meaning that systems tend to want to stay the same. They have certain mechanisms in place to make sure that the system stays the same. Now, why is it? Think of a thermostat. You set it to 70 degrees, and when it gets too hot, the AC kicks on, and when it gets too cold, the heat turns on. So systems like to develop rules to make sure that the system doesn't change too much, because usually change to a system means something bad. Think of an ecological system. You have the rain and the soil and the plants and the predators and the prey and all the insects and all the things, the temperature. When things are going well, it tends to stay the same. When something new happens, like you have an influx of predators to the area, well, what does a system do? Well, a lot of the prey end up being killed and eaten, and the predators don't have enough food to go around, and so a lot of the predators will die or they won't have kids. And so then the predators scale back in population and allows the prey to crop up more. And so systems operate on those rules. Sometimes they're rules that are dictated purposely, as in a parent dictating a rule for a system, and sometimes it's just a rule that a system establishes. Rule is kind of a loose term for it. It's just an operating mechanism that keeps it in balance. And so when you're in a system, it tends to want to stay the same. Now, why would a human system, a social system, want to stay the same? Well, it's because human systems, social systems, family systems are designed to help each other meet each other's needs. They're designed to help raise the kids. They're designed to help keep everyone safe. They're designed to give each other support and give each other fun and creativity, something to do, a sense of belonging. There's all these emotional and physical needs that a system, family system, is there to do. You could say an ecological system, the state of Wyoming, for example, and Yellowstone, the system of the ecology there, its quote unquote purpose is to sustain itself, to sustain life, and to allow plants to grow, but not too much, allow predators to grow, but not too much, allow prey to grow, but not too much. And so with family systems, it's similar. We have a ton of needs. We have needs for love and attention and to take care of our young ones and to feel good about ourselves as parents and to feel proud of ourselves and to feel like people like us and that we belong. And so when a family system is threatened with change, everyone worries a little bit, subconsciously or consciously, that everyone's going to lose that connection. That if we shift the system to a new operating condition, we worry subconsciously that we're going to lose connection, we're going to lose love, or at least it's going to be downgraded. And so we'd rather keep it the same. That's why a lot of family systems that seem like, why does this system always stay the same? Why is it always the same thing over and over again? When you're fighting with your partner, you might wonder that. Why do we always fight the same way? Well, one of the explanations, and there's many, and I've gone into all of them over the months talking on this, YouTube channel. But one of the reasons is that, well, okay, change would be wonderful, right? But we don't really know if we really change how this operates. We don't really know what's on the other side of that fence. It could be good, it could be neutral, it could be bad, and I'd really hate if it was bad. So let's just keep it the same. So as Mariah is trying to push things to be different because the family elected her to do that, someone needs to push systems to be different. Every system has that. Every system has someone that's like, hey, let's be different. Let's try to be different. Why is that person elected to be that? Well, usually they're the more they think outside the box. They might be a little bit more hyperactive, this kind of thing. Every system has someone like that. There might be multiple, but often there's at least one person that's, hey, this needs to change. You also need someone to be conservative and say, hey, we need to keep things the same. We need both of those forces, because if we're constantly changing, there's too much chaos. And you won't be able to predict things from day to day. You won't be able to say, well, I know how to get love and attention in this family because that's how my family has proven to me in the past that if I do X, Y, and Z, I will get love and attention here. And if things are constantly changing, then you'll never know that, and it won't feel very comfortable to you, and it'll be very upsetting. So you need change, you need someone to push for change, and you need someone to say, well, let's only change if we absolutely have to, because change can be dangerous. You need all those elements in a system. You could call it political systems have this as well. So how do you figure out what to do? Well, everyone has to think freely. Everyone has to be able to listen to each other and imagine what it might be like on the other side of the fence and not have a ton of anxiety and reassure each other as they go through the process. Imagine if this family had, without Ethan having this big blow up, imagine if the family had said, you know what, we have too much fear in this family. There's too much fear of change. We're going to have to really start listening to each other. Mariah, when you are constantly pushing back, what are you wanting exactly? What are you looking for? Because I'm worried you're looking to go down a road where you're going to get harmed. But I don't really know that. That's always been my assumption. But what's really happening here? And Olivia, you seem to be really upset at me. What's going on with that? Tell me what you're really upset at me about. What's going on? Because in lieu of those conversations, there's a lot of assumptions and a lot of fear and a lot of anxiety, a lot of hurt, a lot of resentment, a lot of internal criticism, narratives that people build up, contempt for each other. and then that grinds change to a halt, and nothing can change. And then the conservatism of the system tends to be very rigid. And then the rebel in the family, the truth sayer, finally will just say, I can't take it anymore. And partially because the system can't take it anymore. The system wants Mariah and Ethan and Micah to speak up, because every one of those people is thinking, maybe there's something better on the other side of this fence. Maybe there's another way to do this. But I'm afraid. I'm afraid of change. We're all afraid of change. And then Ethan comes in like a ton of bricks, and boom, massive change to the family. Totally new interaction style, totally new way of saying no. He has the power to just drive off into the sunset and never come back. And he does it. He got in a physical altercation, a mild one, with the dad. Big change. So now the family is like, whoa, there's no way we can come back from that, what just happened. There's no way we can go back to the way things were after Ethan's big conflict with the parents. There's no way we can go back. And so everything's in chaos now. We don't know what's up. We don't know what the procedure is. Everything's in question. There's a whole new world here. And so that frees everyone up to think, let's be a little bit more creative. Let's think outside the box a little bit. Let's dust off the shelves and think new. Let's clean the house and rearrange the furniture in a new way and have this be fresh, because the things have already changed. We're already on the other side of the fence. We might as well try to make the best of it. Now, not every family will do that. Sometimes they'll change it even more rigid. The mom had that option. She could have been like, oh, seeing Ethan, now I got to really clamp down. But it seems like mom has taken the other direction, and dad follows in her footsteps. So I hope it makes sense what I'm saying. I'm talking about some pretty complicated ideas here. But over the years, I've become familiar enough with how these things work that I think I'm able to explain it. I've been teaching this idea of systems theory for 20 plus years, and in the beginning of my career, I don't think I was very good at explaining it because I don't think it really made sense to me. It's such a complicated idea. And I hope, and let me know in the comments if this makes sense to you, because I hope it does, because it's a powerful idea. And once you really understand it, and once you really see it, it's like Neo seeing the Matrix. Suddenly now we're not looking at individuals and going, Kim, she's such a B word. Now we're going, oh, what we're talking about is a whole system. And everyone is looking to get their needs met, and everyone's trying to meet each other's needs. And how do we loosen things up such that we can actually help everyone to help each other? As a therapist, that's what I'm always trying to do. And that's the beauty of family therapy and couples therapy, is that in individual therapy, I'm trying to meet the client's needs. But in couple and family therapy, I'm actually trying to help the people in the couple or the people in the family meet each other's needs. And what a wonderful thing that is. Because I'm not with my clients all week long. People are with each other all week long. If I can help a couple love each other more and listen to each other and help heal each other's traumas, then that's a lifetime of healing that they can provide each other. What a wonderful thing. That's why I really love marriage and family therapy. I love individual therapy too, as well, for sure. But to see two people on my couch fall in love again, and to support each other, and to cry into each other's arms, to see a mom finally give acceptance and love to a child, and to do it genuinely, and to do it at a lot of exploration, a lot of paradigm shifting in one's mind, a lot of me soothing her anxieties and understanding where she's coming from, helping people to communicate. To see that and to know that that will probably continue for years and years to come, it just warms my heart, and it really makes me feel like I have a purpose on this planet. Honestly, I talk about this sometimes. My purpose on this planet, I'm pretty sure, is at least to try to make the world a better place. I don't know if I am making the world a better place, but to try. And when I see in my office, and I've done it for 20 plus years, where people actually connect and love each other, and the suffering falls away, and people feel safe with each other, then I know that I did something good on this planet. I mean, truly. And it's just a beautiful thing. It's just a beautiful thing. Many of you are clinicians out there. Many of you have decided to become a clinician. Some of you have decided to become a clinician watching this channel. And that's what I always tell people, is that that's what you're shooting for. If you're interested in the sort of thing that I do, that's what you're shooting for, is that magic, that ability to help people love each other and support each other and understand each other, and to give up their resentment, give up their contempt, and to see the human behind the criticism, behind the upsetness, behind the anger and the hostility, to really connect. It is one of the most wonderful experiences you'll ever have, and no one will ever know what happened except for you and your clients. It's therapy is such a magical thing. In the beginning of my career, I found it to be so strange that for 50 minutes, I'd be sitting with a client, and we might be doing, and I'm getting chills just thinking about it, we might be having the most intense experience that I've ever had in my life. And the client is doing, tremendous work, and there's all this emotional stuff, and, we're talking about our relationship, my relationship with them and their relationship with each other, and they're going through all these emotional healing and revelations, and, just supernovae going off. And I'm just like, no one knows that this is happening. Like, we're in this isolated box, and if everyone else knew what is happening right now, they would all just stand up and cheer. They would all just, standing ovation, 10-minute standing ovation for you, the client, for what you did, for the pain that you overcome, for the self-compassion that you found, the self-love that you found, the love you found for each other, the grace you gave each other. It truly is heroic, the sort of stuff that happens in therapy, and no one ever knows because it's confidential, and it should be confidential. And the kinds of things that I see on TV, movies and television, when I see therapy happening, it's almost never accurate. 99% of the time I'm like, I'm just rolling my eyes going, no therapist would ever do that. That's not how therapists act. That's not what they do. Or some of the time I'm like, that is kind of the way some therapists act, but not all the time. But anyway, so there's that. And then the therapy sessions that they do manage to film, one, they're either really boring sessions, or two, it's hard to really imagine yourself being in the room. Watching a therapy session being videotaped is a lot different from actually being in that position yourself as a client or a therapist. And so it really is something you have to experience. It's sort of like watching a video of skydiving, for example. Okay, we've all seen videos of people skydiving, people jumping out of planes, and they're free falling, and the wind is pushing their face, and they're woo. Okay, most of us understand that watching it is not anything like actually doing it. I think most of us understand that watching something like that would be like 0.01% of the experience of actually doing it. Well, that's what the magic of therapy really is. And some of you, I know, have been through that as clients and as therapists, so you can attest to that. If you haven't experienced that, it's a wonderful thing. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. It really is a special thing that can't be approximated in other kinds of relationships. People sometimes say, well, aren't you just hiring a friend? No, you're not just hiring a friend, because friends are in it for their own needs, and they're not professionals. And so there's something about very intentional listening, very intentional healing that it truly is a magical experience. Anyway. All right, well, that does it for that episode of Psychology in Seattle. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself. And my cat. I speak cat, and she's saying, everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.